Ladies and gentlemen, we are not done yet. We move from the East versus West lightweight championship title to the East versus West middleweight world championship title. And I know that so many of you can't wait for this match. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our athletes now as they await backstage for their introduction. Firstly, this legend of Ukrainian and global arm wrestling needs no introduction anywhere in the game of Iron Arms. As a multiple national champion in his home nation of Ukraine, multiple EAF European champion and multiple WAF World Arm Wrestling Champion, tonight he will try to take the title of the East versus West Middleweight Championship of the World. Ladies and gentlemen, raise it up and welcome Rustam Babayev! A Ukrainian arm wrestling legend, a global arm wrestling icon, waits at the table in the form of Rustam Babayev. He awaits his mirror image. This man is also an arm wrestling icon and one of the most popular pullers in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, he hails from and is proudly representing the United States of America. He is arguably, pound for pound, the strongest arm in the world. And he is also the reigning and defending East versus West middleweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Todzilla, Todd Hutchings.
Unorthodox, ladies and gentlemen, the entrance song of one Todd Hutchings, but we will forgive him. Ladies and gentlemen, this human being, the heart, the pride of the United States of America, is at the main stage. This guy has done almost everything when it comes to the sport of arm wrestling, but there is one thing that he has been unable to do throughout this illustrious career, and that is get a win on one Rustam Babayev. What a match, ladies and gentlemen. Get your popcorn ready.
Do not blink. Rustam Babayev of Ukraine. Todzilla, Todd Hutchings of the United States of America.
You want rest? Rest grip? You go rest grip.
Todd.
Rest grip. Okay.
Happy to go to the rest grip there.
Still is this way. Don't push the center, okay?
Doesn't feel like that's going to restrict him.
Just like this.
Ryan Bowen joining me in the commentary position after the stair sprint. I'm not sure, but I may have got a faster time than you, mate. Backed off. 3 from the top.
Cover, yeah?
What an impressive match this is. The crowd is buzzing right now. Huge match, world title on the line. Todd Hutchings, Rustam Babayev, here we go.
So many questions answered early. Who can make the game their own? Who can make the position their own? So much evolution. These two arm wrestlers do not blink. With explosivity.
One warning. Okay, one.
Warning there on Rustam, he was asking for center. Todd crowding a little, adding that touch of side pressure. Rustam, of course, explosive, the faster of the two athletes you would classically think, but Todd Hutchings, you can see the focus, you can see the attention to detail that he's doing in this setup.
Give me the shoulder. Okay, don't move.
Yeah, Rustam there getting warned on the shoulder multiple times. He knows he needs to be away quick. The explosivity has led to the victories in the past, but Todd Hutchings, a very different arm wrestler. Can he prevent? To be honest, nothing really to go from there. We knew elbow. My God, he's got an elbow foul there.
So we go back to that setup again, but it was Todd Hutchings there really showing that his intent is to get to the strap. We could see that sort of loaded climb just before the go.
Don't move your shoulder.
Here we go. Down come the thumbs. Watch for that explosion from the man from Ukraine. He will try to blast away. Needs to be careful that he doesn't expose himself. There, big drive! We are deep inside, and Todd Zilla gets the elbow foul.
We could see there, Rustam Babayev sort of wiggled his way into the power of the groove there, but it was the side pressure. Todd Hutchings, the pronation side pressure was effective, and that's, regardless of it still being 0-0, that was the best Todd Hutchings has ever looked against Rustam Babayev, right there.
Oh, without question. A couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast where we discussed this match, and I actually predicted
I got a foul?
that he did. Yeah.
From what?
Now.
There.
Yep, there it is. Elbow foul on Todd Hutchings as he added that side pressure. The elbow did bobble up, and the referee's calling that as an advantage gained.
Take your shoulder.
Rustam Babayev, Todd Hutchings now, they've felt
Don't move your
the
shoulder.
warning shots. Let's see if there's any adjustments or if they're both going to just go straight into that hook once again.
Please don't let it end on fouls.
Don't fight with me, okay? Don't pull so much. Not so high.
The foul count 1-1.
Okay?
So much on the line right here. World title. Rustam Babayev, of course, with the 8-0 victory count so far over Todd Hutchings, but Todd Hutchings looking to change that right here, defend his title.
Not blink.
Don't move. Go!
And here we go. Nothing there. Strap him. Again, no surprise.
Neil, this match is such a big match. For everyone who doesn't understand it, Todd Hutchings, the oldest world champion in the sport of arm wrestling at 59 years of age. He turns 59 in a couple of weeks' time. Rustam Babayev, an absolute legend of arm wrestling with more world titles than you can imagine. And being the Achilles heel of Todd Hutchings, Todd never having achieved a victory over Rustam. This is his moment. This is his time. He invited
Under that line.
Engen's offer of this match. He wants to prove to the world that he can not just be the world title holder against everyone else, but he can beat Rustam as well.
He did, and
I'm not worried about that. You guys are pretty good.
I'm going to say, as we listen to Todd there, befriending the men in the stripes, that there's been a huge progression, evolution in the style, the approach to arm wrestling.
Shoulder, don't move. Stand more shoulder, don't move.
And I mean at the table. Let's focus on the match here. Down come the thumbs. Do not blink. Both guys got to be careful with that foul count.
Don't move. Go!
And away we go! We are deep inside, and Todzilla starts to get the horsepower down. Rustam hanging on to it there, but it looked like
Another elbow foul call here. Let's see who it's on. No, they're calling it the win. Todd Hutchings getting that pin. Fascinating stuff. Todd Hutchings in the A side with the power down was in his groove. And Rustam Babayev was able to sufficiently hold it off at the time, but Todd Hutchings being awarded the victory there, and one of those momentary surges getting the pin.
definite parallel pin there.
Rustam calling it that there was a false start. This is interesting. Classically speaking, we would see Rustam as the faster two, but Todd Hutchings dictating the lanes at the moment and in control.
The funny thing is that in the past he would hang in there and he would get palmed up by the explosivity. His style change has been so significant, Ryan. Now he sits in there, he seats himself so very differently, and it makes him a horrible man to beat. And that's why the results are coming, because one thing that he's not forgotten is how to arm wrestle ugly.
I asked Todd Hutchings a couple of days ago if he considers himself an inside or an outside puller. And he had to think about it. Where once upon a time, I think he would have always said, I'm much more an inside puller. Where now he said, I'm a fence sitter on that one. I'm neither in nor out.
Well, I'm going to say this. There's a massive misconception that you don't utilise the pronator as much in the hook, and it is nonsense. It is governance in the hook. The man who releases, who loses control of their pronator when the match turns into a hook, usually comes out on the receiving end. Arm wrestling is about not going palm up in most of the traditional forms.
Yeah, and Todd Hutchings has really added that to his game, that pronation, whether his wrist goes back or not, his pronation has become so critical in the reason why he's been dominant in this last season.
I was just saying a moment ago, mate, it's made him incredibly difficult to beat. Toddzilla has best-in-class strength. He's certainly right there with the absolute pinnacle. And this is a strength sport. But many people believe that he's not technical. He is technical. He knows. He may be clunky, he may be different, he may look as polished and as smooth. But it's kind of like saying somebody's not a good boxer when they just knock their opponent out. You know what I mean? Todd gets it done. Ultimately, arm wrestling is about putting arms on pads, and very, very few men do it better than that man.
Yeah, and he is breaking records not just only in the 95 kilo division, but in the age department. At 59 years of age, what he's doing is phenomenal. As we see the replay here, fair call there from head referee for the parallel pin. Todd Hutchings 1-0, and Rustam Babayev is going to now have to rethink things. He's going to have to start to realise that pronation of Todd's is there, and he can't just rely on the old tactics. We're going to need to see some changes. Rustam declared that he is in all-time best form at the moment.
I think they're
regarding his
talking. I
strength.
jumped. I jumped.
Now, he may well be in the best or an all-time strength peak. But unfortunately, Father Time remains undefeated, and my concern for Rustam is that he will have problems like any explosive arm wrestler. The man has nothing to prove. He's one of the best to ever do it, beyond any shadow of a doubt. But one of the key weapons that he had as a younger man was blistering speed. He was incredibly quick, and that is a weapon. He may be stronger now than he's ever been, but that may cause a difference. I often speak to Devon Larratt about that, and his style, he's stronger than he's ever been, but where was he the very best? Where was the peak between speed and strength? It's an engaging topic, and one
It's
we can't really
fascinating,
answer.
isn't it? Yes, completely is. And Todd is one of the most interesting pieces of data we have in this wonderful sport of arm wrestling.
Now, it's not being given, Ryan, because
There
we're
we go.
staying on the same side.
So we are still 0-0.
Goose eggs.
Now that'll be good for Rustam Babayev fans who want him to have that opportunity. But if there's one thing about Todd Hutchings, that he has an amazing ability to stay locked in his side pressure. Few people can out-endure Todd Hutchings. If Todd Hutchings gets to his position where his pronation's up, his shoulders driving sideways, he just can outlast almost anybody. So Rustam Babayev really needs to dictate something here.
It's good.
It'll be interesting who has the better endurance here, because
Rustam.
people don't talk about Rustam as an endurance arm wrestler, but he's had his fair share of absolute screamers.
Shoulder.
No
Rustam.
doubt about that.
A little bit more. Don't move your shoulder.
Let's
Don't
see
move
the
your shoulder. Don't
slightly
move your
higher
shoulder.
finger position from Todd Hutchings there.
Okay.
Rustam taking the slightly lower grip.
Stop first.
He's going to look to try to contain that pronation of Todd Hutchings as they enter into this restart of round one. Knuckles are closed. Rustam Babayev
Don't move. Go!
hits the hook in better position from Rustam there. He had more back pressure engaged, and you could see that Todd was on the front of the pad. And winner awarded as a second foul on Todd, as he must have come off the front, Neil.
Couldn't see it clearly, mate. I'm assuming so, but I'll need to see the replay. We didn't really have the angle there.
That was a better start from Rustam. He engaged, you can see Rustam's elbow at the back of the pad there, so he'd established the back pressure dominance. But I have to say, Todd's arm didn't look like it was going to be opened at any point. Had he have kept the elbow down, I would have favoured
But I'm
Todd.
not in the losing position yet, so.
Yeah, as Todd says, very positive, and as you were just saying there, Ryan, very positive positionally, because he's making the running. But I mean, I'm assuming that was off the front. Referees were right on top of it. We didn't get the angle, but that's what I think that's been called for. Elbow from the pad. You hate to see
I got
them end
nothing
on
else to do.
fouls, but the lesson or the positives to take out of that for Todd. or that he was not in a losing position. For Rustam, still a little bit of work in the corner there, and you can see the cogs ticking a little. He'll be thinking, what's my route through here?
Yeah, despite the score being 1-0, Rustam Babayev, I think Todd still believes he is ahead in this ultimate race to 4 rounds. This is a world title fight, of course, so it is for a best of 7, so first to 4 in order to achieve the victory. So it's still a long way to go for both athletes here, and Todd Hutchings still feels like he hasn't been opened up yet.
Yeah.
Here we go. To the next round. The score 1-0, as far as I am aware, to Rustam Babayev. 1-0 Babayev.
Yes, I do believe that is the correct score because they did not change the sides before, but
Same, yeah? Same.
let's see now if they hook outside of the straps or if they're going to
Don't
be
move your shoulder. Don't move your shoulder.
looking for that slip. They've been flirting with both ideas, both athletes here.
Close Rustam first.
Very careful not to overcommit and allow the opponent to go on the offense.
For either man, it for me would be a mistake to go outside of the strap, unless you can get it done super quick, which Rustam maybe believes he can.
Just rotate it, guys. Rotate a little bit.
He needs to be
Don't
careful
move.
at the front there. That looked like an elbow fell for.
Becoming a problem, Todd Hutchings' elbow bobbling off the front once again. He does need to keep it down. Of course, when he comes off the front, it gives him a little bit greater opportunity to set that wrist flexion. Staying on the pad is a more difficult task outside of straps. And Rustam Babayev's side pressure is causing Todd to just float off the front. He's got to remain disciplined here. Rustam Babayev,
Keep your shoulder.
looking good.
Don't move your shoulder.
Am I wrong in the score is 1-0?
I truly believe it was. I didn't see them change sides before. I will have to get a clarification from the referees.
Maybe I am.
Fingers. That's the maximum.
At a start there.
Move.
Couldn't
Go!
Todd up.
Top roll from Rustam Babayev there, the surprise attack.
That looked like an. Yeah, I was just going to say, Rustam's elbow came up. And I hate to talk about that because there was nothing there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to see this turn into foul fest when there's nothing there. Both men were looking for the strap.
Foul, because of foul. You know,
Like energy-wise, I would have said at the end of round 1, despite the score, that Todd Hutchings was ahead. But right now, Rustam seems to be coming alive a little. He's throwing some variation at Todd, and he's getting some bullets into the hand and wrist.
I also
of the
think
world
it's
champion.
more around Todd having to think about that elbow.
Yeah.
He's swaying his game a little.
don't move your thumb. Close it. Close it.
Questions at every turn.
Don't move. Go!
That looked like a pin there from Rustam Babayev. Yes, awarded. Rustam Babayev hitting the top roll outside of straps, and whilst Todd Hutchings was trying to slip, getting caught napping.
I think that was definitely the right call.
Change something.
Back against the wall now for the current reigning world champion. Of course, remember, this is a first to 4. So Rustam Babayev now with at least 2. We're not sure of the score exactly whether the...
Ooh, looking at
I
that,
don't know. I got to change something.
it's Rustam's elbow at the front. I don't know.
Replay.
We're not really angled there.
Definitely low enough for a parallel pin in real time, but not sure if Todd has protested that one or not. But Rustam Babayev feeling good right now. Again, if they get locked down, it still looks like Todd has the horsepower to get this job done, but the elbow is becoming the problem. The power, the surges from Rustam Babayev
I'll try.
is keeping Todd struggling to keep that elbow down.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind clarification there if that's 2-0 Rustam, because I thought it was.
I would like that too.
May get that in a moment. But great changing of lanes there for Rustam Babayev, keeping Todzilla guessing, and he walls out of the gates quickly there. And
Referees may be confirming the scoreline for
I
us here.
just lost over there.
Two-one.
Scoreboard does say 2-1.
2-1. Don't.
Anyway, we'll carry on and talk about the arm wrestling that's in front of us, but they may need to go back if Todd makes a comeback.
Yeah, because he chose.
Here we go.
This center here.
Round number 4. Score 2-1.
Yeah, they're working. They're talking about it right now, saying Todd started on this side. So
Fourth round. If you started here, fourth round, you must be here.
no, it is 2-0, guys. It is definitely 2-0. 2-0 is the score.
I
Saw him
think
on
it's
that
2-0.
side twice.
It's 2-0.
2-0.
It seemed like the score was 2-0.
2-0, я тоже помню. 2-0. А первый же мы перебарывали.
Sorry, it's 2-0. Yeah.
2-0.
There we go. We've had clarification there of the score, 2-0. So that scoreboard will be updated for us shortly. 2-0, Rustam Babayev. Todd Hutchings, though, very much still in this match.
Okay.
But with work to do and needs
Don't
to
move the
get
shoulder.
a
Don't
little
move the shoulder. Now it's
cuter
Hutchings
with the
first.
approach to the match there. Rustam using that experience, changing things up.
This is maximum.
Looked very, very impressive in that last start.
Don't move. Go!
Impressive containment there from elbow, but from Todd, I said from elbow, as his elbow was off the front of the pad there, but Rustam Babayev,
Rustam felt that one.
yeah, surprised. I think that surprised Rustam, and maybe a little twinge in the shoulder as well, as Todd did contain the attempt from Rustam to go outside and slip.
Todd is so strong.
Секунду.
But Todd having to walk a fine line now, being, once again, elbow fouls becoming a problem.
1 second.
Feel like if Todd gets tied to Rustam in the strap,
Again,
digs
just
his
to
elbow
clarify
in.
there, was that a coincidental foul on the elbows or a foul on Todd? Because I
Что-то там щелкнуло. Что-то заболело.
Concern here for the injury
I think he
potential.
hurt himself there.
Not good body language. Oh,
really?
no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
That was
my
so
God.
close.
Unbelievable drama.
You're kidding me. Wow, Rustam Babayev sustaining
I'm so sorry.
a serious injury. Todd Hutchings being awarded the win
I'm sorry.
in,
You're right.
in what can only be described as crazy situation here. Rustam Babayev with some degree of tear in the shoulder.
Чувствую, сейчас плечо полетит.
Yeah, well, they're gonna be really hard on me because of the Iraqi thing.
Wow, Todd Hutchings
So
declared the official winner as Neil Pickup makes his way downstairs to interview these two.
I beat him the same way Paul did. We sent him to the hospital.
Ну там мышца как-то.
Drama here
Yeah,
at
that's
King
terrible.
of the Table 14. Rustam Babayev with a
He hurt his shoulder.
2-0 lead and then suddenly hurting the
I was hoping
shoulder.
if I was going to hurt him, I wanted to hurt that chest he put all the money in, but I hurt his shoulder. He hurt his shoulder, I didn't.
We wait now across
Damn.
with Neil once he gets the
Oh,
microphone.
well, now I know. I learned a bunch, yeah. That sucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most unusual and disappointing circumstances there with what appears to be a serious injury to the shoulder of Rustam Babayev. I am here with Todzilla Todd Hutchings, who will retain the championship belt. First of all, Mr. Robert Baxter, head of proceedings here tonight, will put the belt onto Todzilla, and then we will maybe get an update. Shall we try and call Rustam Babayev up here and just understand the nature of the injury? For everybody watching at home, So disappointing for Rustam, who was very much in the match there. Rustam, for everybody watching at home, would you mind explaining exactly what's happened there with the shoulder?
Для всех, кто смотрит сейчас трансляцию, что именно случилось? Что ты почувствовал с плечом?
Я боролся не в свою борьбу верхом и почувствовал, что что-то там сдвинулось, что-то случилось. Поэтому я лучше возьму 3 месяца перерыв, чем потом 2 года буду лечиться.
I was pulling out of my lane, going outside more, and I felt something like dislocate or something in the shoulder. I didn't really, so I'd rather take 3 months break than go out for 2 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Rustam Babayev. Toddzilla, not exactly what you would have wanted to happen in that match, but let's focus on the story that was unfolding there. There was evidence very quickly that your style has changed, has evolved, and was creating major problems for your opponent there.
Yeah, it's great to be stronger, So, but who knew he could top roll like that? I didn't, So, I mean, it's sad he got hurt. I hope he comes back soon. But I mean, I got to say, I was happy to be in there tight the first time. So.
Well, we heard you saying in the commentary position there, when you went over to your lady in the corner and you said, well, look on the positive here. I'm not losing my arm. I'm not getting opened up. I'm still feeling comfortable. Were you being taxed, or was it just really a mental thing?
It's that lightning fast start of his, because he doesn't, there's no pressure. So then it just, I don't know how to train for that. And I don't have anybody that fast that I can train with, so.
Now the referees...
Horses or something. We'll have to buy some horses or something. I live up in Amish country, so I can do that.
The referees seem to be all over you guys, both of you, with the elbows. And I was saying up there, were you getting a little distracted by that? Because it seemed to take you out of your lane. You were a little bit mixed up. Were you struggling to keep the elbow down? Were you very conscious of it? And was that slowing you down or hampering your style?
Well, when there's somebody that I'm so worried about losing to, and as soon as a foul racks up, I don't want to lose on fouls. So it forces you to put weight on your elbow. It forces you to go a little slower, because you're just trying to prevent fouling instead of just being free to pull your own game. So it makes you think, especially when it was close. I thought if we could just keep hitting inside, then neither one of us would have fouled. But he was smarter than I was,
Now, I know you're super modest and you don't like to blow your own trumpet, but I'm going to ask you two a little bit. When the match stopped and it engaged, it did look like there was a strength gap, and it looked like you were pretty comfortable. How did it actually feel up there?
He felt human, which is the first time he felt human to ever. I think if I could have gotten in that position each time, I think I would have won that, But when we started going outside, then I'm starting, okay, now I got to top roll somebody who's grabbing me low. So that was a change of strategy, and I wasn't really planning on top rolling him at all.
Todd, there was some controversy about the elbow with Zirakashvili. When you look back at that, is that something you want to do again? Is there someone else? Who do you feel is the most legitimate challenge? I mean, my God, we saw Paul Lynn tonight look incredibly impressive. This is a stacked class. Who do you want the most?
I don't want to pull Paul in. I just assume I'll pull Irakli every other match. And we've pulled in 95, we pulled in 105, so I think me and Irakli should pull at 115.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. He is still the East versus West middleweight champion of the world, Toddzilla, Todd Hutchings.
Thank you,